to battle the coronavirus. And there is still an urgent need for relief in Louisiana and areas hit hard by Hurricane Ida. Also, Germany's biggest motor show is going green as it rolls out more electric cars and even recycled ones.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
President Biden unveils a 6-pronged strategy to combat the spike in COVID cases caused by the Delta variant. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the president signs an executive order requiring all federal workers be vaccinated as part of his new strategy to combat the coronavirus. He'll speak this afternoon about the surge in cases and lay out his 6-point plan. A big part of it is increasing vaccination rates. The plan includes more protection for vaccinated Americans, increased testing and masking requirements, improving care for people with the virus, protecting the economic recovery, and keeping schools safely open. Thousands of Missouri children have been diagnosed with COVID-19 since the new school year began, and at least one rural school had to close for cleaning after an outbreak. A map on the state's COVID-19 dashboard breaks down the virus cases among people ages 5 to 19 within each school district's geographic boundaries. The map shows nearly 24 districts with at least 41 new cases over the past 14 days. Combined, those districts alone have more than 2,900 illnesses. Joplin shows the most new cases over the past 14 days, with more than 25 reported. Well, Freeman health officials say the pandemic could have a big effect on the upcoming flu season. Last year, flu cases hit a record low, which health experts attribute to increased masking and cleaning practices. But because of the low exposure last year, the CDC worries more people could be vulnerable this flu season. Freeman officials recommend everyone keep wearing masks, practice regular hand washing, and get the flu vaccine.
It works on a lot of different respiratory viruses, and in particular flu and RSV. So I would really strongly encourage all of us to keep that in mind, and especially, if you are a person who has pulmonary disease, that you're an at-risk population, not just for COVID. And I would really strongly advise you to continue to follow those.
Officials say it is safe to get the COVID vaccine and flu vaccine at the same time. Latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows 13% of employed people teleworked or worked from home in the last 4 weeks because of the pandemic. And now some local businesses are hiring new employees specifically for work from home positions. Teleperformance and Dish Network have ads listed online for remote work in the area. And Alorica and Joplin is hiring 600 employees, none of whom will go to the office.
Can you keep that picture up behind you? Dylan, can you keep that up behind Tanya right there? The work from home picture, and just get a good shot of Tanya here. And I'll make a comment here. Tanya, look at that person's desk.
What about it? What about this desk?
I can't keep my kitchen table that clean.
Oh no, if you saw you can't see the desk.
Right. I got a feeling that I understand the working from home and why that's an important story. I guarantee you the majority of people working from home are not working in environments like that.
There's probably toys around the desk too.
That's a very good point.
Children's toys.
Stepping on Legos as you get up to grab a coffee. We've all been there. Let's take a look at our daily almanac on this September the 9th. The average high, 84. We were just a couple degrees above that yesterday, and we'll be once again just a couple degrees above it today. But all in all, I actually had somebody say that this was feeling rather cool for the middle of September. Our temperatures right now ranging anywhere from 78 to 82. Still got the high 70s up there to the north, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, even Pittsburgh chiming in there. We do see an 83 in Grove. Let's go 82 in Joplin and in Neodesha. A little bit of a swirling wind factor, but now that it's going to work in from the southwest, just 5 to 10 miles per hour. But look over there to the west. We're starting to see that wind pick up in Wichita and Salina. So that gives you an indicator that it's going to feed us warmer air beginning tomorrow. But our Skywatch storm tracker has just been absolutely fine. We've got elevated fire weather out to the west. We've got swells from Hurricane Larry out to the east. And right in the middle of the country, in our neck of the woods, it is absolutely gorgeous. Albeit a little dry. It'd be nice if we could pick up just a tad bit of precipitation, just some normal showers and not have anything severe. but everything just kind of bookends us. As a matter of fact, not a whole lot of action on this side of the Mississippi River. Beginning tomorrow, we're back into the 90s, and then we're going to carry that into the mid-90s here for Saturday and Sunday. Coming up in a bit, Tanya, let's go ahead and talk about the East and the West and the role it's going to play in our weather by the time we get to next week.
All right, a lot to talk about. Thanks, Michael. Turning to the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, there is still an urgent need for relief in Louisiana. 11 more deaths were reported there yesterday. Statewide total is now 26. And though more deaths are blamed on heat and other causes in Louisiana than on the hurricane itself, around 250,000 people in the state are still without power. David Begnow takes us to Barataria, Louisiana for a closer look.
You can practically walk on water where Bayou Barataria separates Jean Lafitte from Barataria, Louisiana. That grass is marsh, thrust in by Hurricane Ida's storm surge, which pushed a barge into the only bridge connecting these two communities. That knocked out the bridge, sunk the barge, and cut off the 1,200 residents in Barataria.
When I get up to...
We went to meet one of them.
Nice to meet you, sir.
It's nice to talk to somebody.
It's nice to talk to somebody.
My dog won't speak to me anymore.
Robert Gonzalo's home has been surrounded by floodwater for the last 10 days. He's lived here for 42 years, and Hurricane Katrina was the only one he evacuated for.
I was expecting water, but I wasn't expecting this kind of water.
Why didn't you leave for this one?
Good question. Why didn't I? I don't know. Me and my son decided just to stay. You know, just hang around.
His home is 8 feet off the ground, and the water came within a foot of flooding it. Just down the street from here, about a mile, is where we met 77-year-old Earl Trish.
Holding this, holding that for more than 3 hours, keeping the wind and rain down somewhat. The wind would blow so hard it would blow me back.
His home is high and dry. His wife evacuated, but he refused to. He had a heart attack 5 months ago, and when we met him, he had just run out of his heart medication. So his neighbor Lisa went and got it for him.
Well,
got your prescriptions.
That's the main thing I'm after.
Just yesterday, the state of Louisiana reported 11 new storm-related deaths, and they said that 9 of those were heat-related. 9. No power means no air conditioning, and the good folks in Barataria across the bayou have been told you probably won't get your power back until at least the end of the month. David Begnow, CBS News, this side of the bayou in Jean Lafitte, Louisiana.
That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon.
Electric cars are taking over the roads. I'm Ian Lee with something even greener around the corner.
And later, Howard's got a creamy chicken and ravioli skillet, plus a chance for you to win big with some friends of Mr. Food. When it comes to putting greener cars on the road, it turns out there's more to it than just going electric. The cars of tomorrow are making their debut at Germany's biggest motor show. CBS's Ian Lee takes us to Munich for the story.
Car shows like to tease the future of what we could be driving next. And BMW says it won't just be electric, but recyclable too.
It is designed to be disassembled, to reuse it again. So let's say we can use the same material of this car to produce a new car.
At Munich's auto show, car companies generated buzz about their new electric vehicles.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ID Life.
Volkswagen wants to overtake Tesla with their new electric car and hopes to corner the EV market by 2025. German leader Angela Merkel says these cleaner cars are part of the solution to the climate emergency. But activists believe it's all a bit disingenuous, saying car makers will still get rich off gas-guzzling SUVs. Although some larger vehicles here are getting electric makeovers, like the high-end Mercedes Maybach. And companies say the smartest cars will also charge the fastest.
We will offer a DC charging from 5% to 80%, which is less than 30 minutes.
Making it a quicker ride into a greener future. Ian Lee, CBS News.
President Biden wants half of cars sold in the U.S. by 2030 to be zero-emission vehicles. But sales of electric vehicles in America lag behind those in Europe and China. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Do you have a recipe that is grand prize worthy? If you do, stick around and see how you can win big. I mean, really big.
At first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
It's not going to be too bad. As a matter of fact, we're going to dip down to about 85 degrees at kickoff time. So even though we'll be talking about the heat today, tomorrow is not going to be too bad at all. Current conditions is over 7 the rain line. We sit at 82 degrees right now. Dew point all the way down to 50 degrees, and look at that humidity. Bottom dropped out. Sitting at 33%, and also too with the barometer on the rise. It means a whole bunch of blue skies. I'm going to pause just a second and watch the wind tracker and watch it move around as we have now got it coming in from the south. Now, it's not too bad. I do want to point this area out right here. That is where we're seeing the increase in the wind, and it's not going to affect us today. We'll say at 5 to 10 miles per hour for the afternoon. But when we look at Wichita and Salina already up to double digits, that's an indicator as this system moves from west to east that tomorrow a little bit more blustery, also too a little bit warmer, and then Saturday, that's when that wind is going to get on us. We're going to be talking about gusts of 25 to 30 miles per hour throughout Saturday afternoon. Very very mild temperatures right now. 82 in Joplin, 81 in Chanute, 78 in Nevada, and 81 in Monette. Skywatch Storm Tracker, not just clear for us. Look at the entire Midwest, and like I say, that's with the cloud cover and that's with the precipitation. There's just not a whole lot going on in our neck of the woods. Not necessarily a bad thing, and the cooler temperatures complements of the jet stream. There's a severe thunderstorm risk map. Look at that. We don't even see the marginal area throughout the contiguous 48s. That's really good news, especially down south. Now we've got this big cutoff low. That's that circular motion that you see right there. And what that's doing is just kind of locking all that elevated fire weather into the mountains and the west coast, all the way up to big sky country and whatnot. Now, obviously, since it comes down here out of Canada, that kind of gives us some mild temperatures, if you will. I don't necessarily call them cool, since we will be up into the mid to high 80s, but we'll go mild. And now let's check on our tropics. Larry downgraded to a Category 1. And now, even though they're going to have dangerous swells off the mid-Atlantic and East Coast, at least we've gone from 3 to 1 here in the span of 48 hours. Try to keep it as a 1 as it makes its way along. We also have the letter M in effect. That is Mindy. We talked about the low pressure system that developed in the Gulf yesterday. Turned into a post-tropical depression, actually ended up with a name, and it has now moved over the Florida-Georgia state line. Great news in the fact that they have essentially canceled all their weather statements of involving any hurricanes or anything tropical. You see that pinkish purple there along the coast. That's actually a gale statement for small crafts that are out and about. So really not affecting the mainland, but look out to the west. Red flag warnings, heat advisories. You know, every now and then we get one of those that's thrown up in our neck of the woods, but for them it has been a summer full of it. Weather trend for today. Peak heating hours usually between, say, 2:30, 4 o'clock, and we'll be around 87 degrees. Big differences overnight. Past 2 mornings, we've been waking up with temps in the 50s. Well, that's not going to be the case tomorrow. We're actually just going to stay in the mid-60s for the most part. And then as we push into the weekend, like I said, that wind is really going to make a difference, because after it starts to move in from the southwest at 25 miles per hour, there's no doubt it's going to feed us warmer temperatures. Shift to the jet stream as well, as it will make its way east to the Mississippi, and we're right back into the mid-90s.
Not looking forward to that warm up again. But man, it was so beautiful overnight.
Yeah, and I'm still gonna throw the positive on it though. High school football kickoff. I really think we're gonna drop down to about 84, 85 degrees. So it's gonna be great for the kiddos and great for the spectators.
I'm not gonna complain there. All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant Randy Keller of Pittsburgh. He served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1991 to 2006. This decorated veteran fought in Desert Storm and in Operation Iraqi Freedom. To Sergeant Randy Keller, we thank you, our four-state hero. I think you've got an award-winning recipe? Well, Howard has the details on a brand new contest if you've got what it takes. And to top that off, he's making a creamy chicken and ravioli skillet. All of that today in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
This time of year, the one thing that I keep hearing from so many of you is you just don't know what to make for dinner. So to help you out, we're super excited to be launching our Dinner in a Dash recipe contest, along with our friends at EasyHomeMeals.com. That means we're searching for winning recipes that we can share with you to ensure that dinner time is not only tasty, but it's stress-free. So if you have a family favorite recipe that uses 10 ingredients or less, is on the table in under 60 minutes, and uses at least 3 freezer case or dairy aisle shortcuts in it, then what are you waiting for? And by using a few refrigerated and frozen items in your recipe, it'll make this a breeze. That means if you submit the grand prize worthy recipe in the next few weeks, you could receive a $500 supermarket gift card, a signed Mr. Food Test Kitchen cookbook, plus a slew of coupons worth hundreds of dollars. And yes, we have great prizes for all the runner-ups as well. And until we reveal the winning recipes, why not try out our creamy chicken and ravioli skillet, which also starts out with a few refrigerated and frozen supermarket shortcuts. To get the recipe, as well as all the information about the contest, simply visit our website. Who knows, you may be one of the lucky winners. So whether you win the contest or you get your hands on the winning recipe from it, I have a pretty good feeling that either way, you'll be saying, ooh, it's so good.
That recipe looked good too. I'm gonna have to look it up. And you can find it along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Low 80s right now, mid to high 80s this afternoon, whole bunch of sunshine. Remember, overnight, we are not going to drop back down into the 50s. Low to mid 60s, as good as you're going to get, an indicator the heat's coming for us for the weekend.
What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, 1 out of every 4 people over the age of 65 will fall this year. Many suffer life-changing hip fractures or head injuries. We're going to find out how to get an accurate fall risk to help prevent serious injuries. Plus, a 4-state veteran talks about how the events of 9/11 led him to join the military. And the next time you head to Silver Dollar City, you might see a local resident creating treasures out of junk. We're going to meet the Junkyard Farm Girl. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.